Hello and welcome to How to Get Your Big Idea Online Now. I am so happy that you're making the time to see this presentation. I'm very excited to present it to you, and I'm going to do something that I have never done before, which is I'm going to be presenting some information, some education, and then at the end of the presentation, I'm going to tell you about one of my programs, but I'm going to present it to you in a way that I've never done before, which is I'm going to sell it and teach you how I'm selling it as I sell it. So it's going to be interesting. I think you'll learn a lot. Whether or not you're interested in the program, I think you're going to be interested in seeing the breakdown of how I sell the program. So hello to everyone who is here live. I appreciate you making the time to be here for this live presentation. And if you are watching the replay, I appreciate you as well. Let's get right into my slides. And I'm going to give you time to ask questions at the end. Stacy Cornelius is in chat live, and she is my client success coach. So if you have questions as we go along, let Stacy know what your question is. She's going to be gathering them all, and she'll put them together for me, and we'll answer them at the end. So here we go. I'm going to switch over to my slides. And let me know if you see my slides. Can you maybe let me know in chat if you're seeing my slides all right? My slide, it's really just one slide, but I'd love to just ensure that you're seeing it because I have a lot of good stuff to show you and I want to make sure it's showing up okay. So this is how to get your big idea online now. And if you are here, I'm imagining that you are working to get your big idea online now as well. So my name is Pamela Wilson. I'm an author, speaker. I'm an award-winning designer. I have been a business owner for 30 years now, just about 30 years in another month or so. And I'm an online educator. I'm the former executive vice president of educational content for Copy Blogger Media, and I'm a business coach and the creator of the Big League, which we are going to be talking about quite a bit. So let me see. I think I need to get this off. There we go. All right. I'm also someone who maybe like you has kind of a long bio because I think when you get to midlife, you've just done a lot of things, and that's wonderful. It's also one of the things that makes it a little bit challenging to start an online business because sometimes you just don't know what to focus on. So we're going to touch on that quite a bit today. I help people to build profitable online businesses while feeling clear and confident every step of the way. This is what I do. And the reason there's an asterisk next to people is because I help a specific group of people. I help people in mid-career and beyond who have expertise that they want to offer online. Hopefully that's you. And my goal is for you to be able to take focused action so that you can make progress faster. Focused action is really what it's all about. And we're going to be looping back to that concept over and over again in this presentation because it's really all about focus. Before we start, I want to ask you to eliminate any distractions. I'm going to move quickly because we got to move quickly and get this in here quickly. So eliminate distractions if you can. Turn other things off so you can really, again, focus on what we're going to be talking about. And I would love it if you could grab a place to take notes because, again, we're going to move fast and there are some really important concepts in this presentation. I want to make sure you capture them all. And as I said at the top, we'll have time for questions at the end. Stacy Cornelius, my client success coach, is here in chat. But if you are watching the replay, I want you to know that you can drop any questions down in the comments section below this replay video, and I would be very happy to answer you personally. So bring on the questions. So I am going to start with a question for you, and it's a very easy one to answer. I would love to know if you have an online business now. And if you are here live, you can just drop a Y or an N in chat and let me know if you have an online business now. Just give me a yes or a no, and I see a yes already, so that's good to know that you already have one. Some people have one already, some people are just starting. And I'd love to know where you are in this. And let's see, let me go to the next slide. Here we go. And if you don't have an online business, if you answered no to that or N, I'm wondering if you've been thinking about building an online business. So if you have one, awesome. If you don't, have you been thinking about it? Is it something that you're working on actively right now? So I see some N's, I see some Y's. Christian is saying sort of, and yes, I get that. You're probably in the learning phase and trying to decide what your next step is. So I totally get that, and I hope that this presentation will clear things up for you. I wonder if this sounds like you. I wonder if you feel like you want to build an online business, but you would like to do it without feeling confused and overwhelmed, which is a typical scenario for lots of us. And this is an example of that. Not long ago, I woke up and was so tired. I needed a cup of coffee, and I didn't have enough coffee to make coffee because I ended up putting the coffee grounds directly into my mug to make coffee. So it wasn't good. So dazed and confused and feeling overwhelmed is a pretty common way to feel. I have felt it as well. And my coffee cup with the grounds in it is proof. So I wonder if this sounds like you also. Have you tried to build an online business yourself, but it's just not getting the success that you wanted, or it's not getting the traction that you were hoping for? Yeah, Christian's laughing. So yeah, I know. It happens to the best of us. And then I also wonder if you've ever thought to yourself, I just wish I could flip a switch and just have an email list, have a product to sell, have a website that attracts visitors. I just wish I could be there, And one thing that we hear about online, maybe not directly, but a lot of people speak as if there's some kind of money tree that grows, on the internet. There's this money tree that grows money, and you can just pick money off of it, and it's amazing. The internet just allows you to just generates money for you, and it's like a miracle. Well, if you don't know me at all, I'm going to tell you that I do not espouse the internet money tree. That's not how I operate. I've had an actual offline business for decades, and I know that business growth happens slowly and deliberately over time. So that is the angle that we're going to take today. It's very pragmatic, but that's how I operate, and I want you to know me. That's how I deliver my information, is no internet money trees in this presentation. So let's talk about what does work. And the first thing is, when you're building an online business, you really have to try to pinpoint your big idea. And big is in capital letters here, and that is intentional. I'm going to tell you what those capital letters mean. So a big idea is something that will help you to create a business that's successful. And then the other thing you need is, there are some essential building blocks to having an online business that you really need to put into place. So we'll be going over those as well. And then the final thing we'll cover is a step-by-step approach. This is the approach that I teach that eliminates a lot of those feelings of confusion and feelings of overwhelm. I'm excited to show you how it works. So let's go back in time for a little bit. This is almost 10 years ago. The Berlin Wall was touring the world, and there was a museum in Washington, D.C. that had some pieces of the Berlin Wall. So this is me about 9 years ago, standing in front of a piece of the Berlin Wall. And I was in the early days of starting my online business. And I remember these days very well because I was very confused. I was really struggling to get traction in the first couple of years of my online business. I was following online advice, all sorts of online advice, but not really in any special order. I was just finding things. It was like that squirrel, like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. And I was paying attention to all these different things, but not in any kind of deliberate order. And I did go down a lot of dead ends that just didn't lead to anywhere. And that made it take, of course, a lot more time. Spent a lot of time trying things that didn't actually work. And yet, here I am, I chose this photo, and I chose all those years ago to stand in front of this piece of the Berlin Wall that says "Act Up," because that's where I was in my head. I wanted to act up and have an online business where I could take the expertise I had developed. At that point, I was a designer and branding expert and marketing expert, and I really wanted to help more people. So I wanted to build my business online so that I could reach people all over the world. So acting up was my goal, but boy, was I having a hard time getting there. After a while, though, it started to work. It finally started to work. And you can see on the slide, it says, "You are power." And that's kind of how I felt when it started to work, when everything kind of clicked and started to function. And what it comes down to is figuring out what you want to offer. That's a lot of the question that you need to answer. And then you also need to figure out, like, what should you do and what should you do first, right? Like, what should you focus on first? Because that's how you make progress fast, by just taking your amazing focus and focusing on doing the thing that's most important right now. So that's what we're going to talk about in just a moment. But for me, it looked like this. It looked like starting an email list. And that email list was the first thing that I did, because really email lists grow over time and you need to start working on them as soon as possible. So I started my email list and that began to grow. I started guest appearances. So I started guest posting for big websites. I started appearing on people's podcasts, speaking in people's webinars or in their virtual events, or sometimes on their stages. And I just started to acquire a little bit more influence by showing up online consistently in as many places as possible. And then I did develop a couple of products that I offered, and I started to get income. So all of those things together, growing my email list, increasing my influence, and then beginning to offer products in this case, but it could be services, right? And earning income from those things. That was how it really started working for me. And what happened is, not only did these things grow, but my confidence grew as well. And I think that's such a big part of this, that when you are in mid-career, you have accomplished a lot. You have developed a lot of expertise in your field. And it can be really challenging to go back to this place where you feel like a complete beginner. And it can feel like you lack confidence to do this because you just don't know how to do it. I mean, online business has a lot of moving parts, right? So when those moving parts started to work for me, that was when my confidence grew. And that's what will happen to you as well if you're just starting out. Ole is a good example of this. Ole is in Sweden, and he used my process to improve his book sales page. He had a very small email list, but he learned how to leverage it, and he launched his first book. And he said, "Pamela's effective Plan and Grow Big system helps you overcome the overwhelm that many new business owners face. By following her roadmap and advice, you can make real progress on your business, and you'll start to see results too." So that Plan and Grow Big system that Ole mentions is what I'm going to be teaching you in this presentation. So that's coming up, and it worked for Ole, so I'm hoping it will work for you as well. But let's start with pinpointing your big idea, and I want to tell you what those letters stand for, the big letters. So big means brandable, inspiring, and growing. And I want you to pay attention to this part, because if you're here live, there's going to be a pop quiz coming up. So if you're taking notes, this would be a great thing to jot down. I'm kind of giving you the cheat code for the pop quiz, but pop quiz coming up. Brandable, inspiring, and growing is what you want to write down. That is what I mean by your big idea. So what is the deal with brandable? Why do we need your idea to be brandable? What you need to do in order to have some success online is you need to find a unique way to talk about your business idea, and then pair that with a memorable name and a memorable tagline. And then you want to develop a visual and verbal brand that helps to make your big idea stick in people's minds. You want them to be able to remember it. That's what I mean by brandable. So let's look at inspiring. What is inspiring? Well, I think the best online business ideas are aspirational and they're exciting to your prospects. They make them feel like, oh wow, I want to be that. I want to do that. I want to feel that. You want to create that kind of excitement in your prospects when they hear about your big idea. So inspiring is a really important aspect. And then what do I mean by growing? So growing is something really specific as well. I don't see a lot of people talking about this concept, but the best online business ideas meet an ongoing need. So they don't deliver a once and done solution. They meet a need that is ongoing. And I've got some examples in case that's confusing. So here are examples of this growing or growth idea. Let's say that you are a career coach. You might help people to find a new job. That's a pretty typical thing that a career coach does. But if you also help them to negotiate raises, that is meeting a growing need. That's meeting an ongoing need that people will have. You help them find the job, you help them negotiate raises, and that way you can continue to serve that same group of people over time. Something else, another idea or concept would be if you're a web developer. Let's say that you help people design a new website. Well, that's great, but that's, once that's done, it's done, right? But if you also add in a package where you offer monthly website maintenance at a discount for current customers, then you're meeting an ongoing need. And that is a great online business idea because you're continuing to serve the same customers. Then we have an idea of somebody who might teach copywriting. Let's say you're a copywriter and you're teaching copywriting to your clients. So maybe you help people to write the copy for their about page. You teach them how to write their about page copy. Well, once their about page is done, they're kind of done. They don't really need anything else unless you also teach them how to write better sales page copy. Now, that is an ongoing copywriting need. People have to write sales copy all the time. So if you teach them how to write that kind of copy, you'll be able to continue to serve them on an ongoing basis. So BIG is brandable, inspiring, and growing. So pop quiz, what does BIG stand for? If you are here live, drop that into chat right away so I can see it. There's a little bit of delay on my chat, so drop it in there now and I will take a look. I'm going to take a sip of tea while you answer. All right. BIG is brandable, inspiring, and growing. Brandable so it's memorable, inspiring so people aspire to your offer, and then growing so that you can meet an ongoing need. And I see you all are taking great notes, so thank you for that. Thank you for paying attention. So next section, let's talk about the essential building blocks of any online business. These are things you have to have in place. Now, people will try to sell you courses about all sorts of things when it comes to building an online business. But if you don't have these essentials, you don't have an online business, right? So let's talk about what those essentials really are and how you can focus on getting these things in place first so that you have a really great foundation under your business. The first thing you need is a website. You need to have a basic website. And, it's funny how recommending people create a website is almost like countercultural these days because so many people are trying to teach you how to build your business on Facebook or build your business on Instagram or build your business on YouTube. And those are not bad platforms. I mean, if your audience is on those platforms, it's not a bad idea to have a presence on those platforms. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. However, I think we have all seen that none of us here own Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or any of these outlying satellite platforms where we can show up. We don't own them, which means we don't control them, which means that our presence on those platforms can be pulled away from us in an instant when we least expect it. That's why I recommend you really focus on building a website. And it doesn't, it sounds super daunting, but it doesn't have to be complicated. I recommend that you focus first on your home, about, and contact pages. Those are the best pages to have when you first publish your website and first make it live online. Then you can add in a couple of more pages. You can add in some kind of content page. So that could be a blog, it could be a podcast, it could be, videos, a series of videos. Any content that you plan on updating on a regular basis is a great thing to include on this content page. And the beautiful thing about having regular content publishing on your website is it helps your website to show up in search engines. So some kind of content page on your website that you add to continually is really important. And then we have another page that I'm going to call your commerce page because it's a C letter, but commerce could be a lot of different things. You might offer services. So this page in your navigation might be called services, or it might be called your shop, or it might be called courses. It might be called coaching. It might be called work with me. It could be anything that allows people to basically give you money. It's where you're going to present your offer and give them a way to buy your offer online. So that commerce page happens once you have those basic pages in place. So home, about, and contact come first. Commerce and content are more complex. That's why they come in the next step. And again, this is the step-by-step way of doing things, right? We got to focus on the most important thing first. Another essential element is email marketing. This is really important because you need to start building your email list as soon as possible. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to select an email provider, an email marketing provider, and this needs to be one of the good ones. So it will be a bit of an investment and it can be challenging because when you're first starting out, maybe you're not making a lot of money, but I do recommend that you invest in a good email marketing provider. You don't have to get the super sophisticated ones that have all these, automations and all this fancy stuff. But it is good to start with one that has really good deliverability and a good reputation and all of that. The next thing you want to do once you have your email marketing provider is to create opt-in forms that you can add to your website. And those will begin to grow your email list. And this is really important because you want to start that process of growing your email list as soon as possible. You want to start adding people to your email list over time because it just takes time to do this. So you're going to be doing lead magnets or opt-in incentives and offering those on your website and getting people to sign up. Then once you've got that done, let me see, I think I lost my place on my slides. So let me get back to where I am. Let's see, email marketing. All right. The next thing is social media marketing. And I just told you not to focus on that, but it's an important marketing aspect of your business. Again, it should be a satellite presence for your business. Your home base is your website, and you need to focus on that first. But once you have your website and your email marketing set up, then you want to choose one social media platform to focus on to start. And the way you choose this is it's usually a combination of where your audience is already hanging out, and you want to build on your current strengths. So for example, I'm sitting here doing video. I could never have done video in the early days of my online business. I was way too uncomfortable. I became more comfortable over time with video. But if you are already, Lord knows we've all spent a lot of time on Zoom these days. So maybe you're comfortable on video now. And if so, maybe you want to choose a platform that relies a lot on video. But if you're not comfortable on video, for example, if you really just like text and sharing tidbits and thoughts, maybe Twitter is a place to be. And as long as your audience is on that platform, go for it. So build on your strengths and find where your audience is hanging out and build a presence there. Just focus on one platform. And then later on, you master the platform, you start growing your audience on that platform. Once you're really established on one of the platforms, then you can consider expanding to another platform, but it doesn't need to happen right away. All right, got another pop quiz if you're here live. So what are the 3 essential elements? Answer in chat. I'm going to sip my tea so that my voice holds out. These are the 3 essential elements of an online business. And we talked about building a website first, focusing on those 3 essential pages first and getting it published, and then adding in your content in your commerce page. And then we also talked about email marketing and how important it is to get started with that early on so that your email marketing, your email list can grow. And then we also talked about how important it is to establish yourself on at least one social media platform somewhere so you can start growing your presence on social media. All right, I want to show you my step-by-step approach because this is the thing that is going to make building an online business so much less overwhelming. It's the real game changer to the way I teach online business. So I want you to pay attention to this part because this could really change the way you approach building your online business. I believe that online businesses grow in stages, and there are 4 stages. And the stages are plan, build, implement, and grow. And I'm going to show you what's involved in each of those stages. So take a look at this graphic here. We have this kind of funky looking graphic. It's got like a kind of a runway looking thing. And then we have these 3 stepped arrows going up, and we're going to look closely at each of these elements. So the plan stage is really like the runway part of growing your online business. You're not really off the ground yet, but you're doing a lot of planning and preparation in this stage. And what you want to do in this stage is you want to focus on really getting to know your ideal customer, who it is that you want to serve. Really get to know them. And then you're going to develop a business name and a tagline. You'll secure a domain name for your online business. So this is going to be the URL that people type in to find your business name online. And then you want to choose some brand colors and fonts. You don't need a fancy logo, but you want to have some basic branding decisions made so that you can start using that brand as soon as possible. Then you want to start thinking about your online offer and making some initial plans for that offer. Then we go to the build stage. So you've done all your plans. Now you're going to start building the things that you planned. This is where you're actually creating tangible elements of your online business. It's an exciting stage. So this is where you are going to publish that website that has your 3 to 5 essential pages, the ones we talked about earlier. You will register with an industry-leading email marketing provider, which is what we talked about earlier as well. Then you're going to build a lead magnet or opt-in incentive that you're going to place on your website to start growing your email list. This is super important. And you want to start placing those attractive lead magnet or opt-in offers all around. And then you'll start building your first small product or service, your first initial offer, something small so you can test it. Then we have the implement stage, and at this stage, your offer is out there and you're starting to really get traction. So in this stage, you're doing things like pricing and positioning your offer or your product or service, whatever your offer is. You want to build a sales page for your product or service. You'll start to launch your product with emails or live presentations like this one. You'll begin tracking your results and you'll start to notice which launch techniques or which promotion techniques work best. Some won't work at all and some will work like gangbusters, and you want to pay attention to that and see which one works for you and your audience. And then in this stage, you want to be exploring new ways to grow your email list. Once you get through the implement stage, you'll know that, now you might spend a long time in this stage, but you'll know that you've gotten through it when you're bringing in consistent income. You've got consistent income coming in every month from your online business, and that's when you're ready to move into the grow stage. So in the grow stage, you are going to leverage your success. You've got income coming in and you're going to build on that success by doing things like reinvesting in your business. So you may start running ads. You might start exploring joint venture projects that you do with colleagues. Maybe you sort of co-create an offer with a colleague who has an audience that would be interested in what you do. Maybe you create an affiliate program where you give people a commission for helping to promote your offer online. There are a lot of things that you can do in this growth stage that are potentials once you have that consistent income coming in. That's the key to getting to that stage. So plan, build, implement, and grow. And you know what's coming if you're here live, right? We got a little pop quiz, and I'm wondering if you paid attention and started thinking about what stage you may be in right now. Do you feel like you're in the plan stage? Do you think you're in the build stage? Are you in that implement stage where you're putting offers out there? Or are you in the growth stage where you already have a consistent income and you're basically trying to figure out how to leverage the consistent income you have coming in right now? I would love to know. So if you are here live, drop it into chat. And if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments. I would love to know what stage you're in right now. My biggest piece of advice, if there's one thing I want you to remember in this presentation, is that the best way to make fast progress online is to take your business growth one stage at a time and do everything one step at a time. It is super important. So this is what we went over. And this is the part of the presentation where I promised I was going to sell and teach simultaneously. So that starts right now. I am going to start talking about my program, but I'm also going to teach you what I'm doing as I talk about my program. So even if you're not interested in my program, I hope that you will stick around for this part of the presentation, because I'm going to deconstruct this sales process so that if you're in a position where you need to sell something, you know exactly what I'm doing. So in this point of the presentation, what I'm doing is summarizing everything that we just went over so that you see the value that you've already received by attending this presentation. So we talked about how to pinpoint your big idea, which is something that is brandable, inspiring, and growing. And then we talked about, again, here it is, brandable, inspiring, and growing. And then we talked about the essential building blocks of an online business, the things you really have to have in place before you do anything else. And those things are your website, your email marketing, and you have to have some kind of presence on one social media platform. Then we talked about my step-by-step approach, which is the plan and grow big approach. And this is what really removes a lot of the confusion and overwhelm, because you identify the stage you're in and you just focus on getting the things done that have to happen in that stage, and you sort of ignore everything else. So it's a really beautiful thing because you can kind of cut your to-do list down by 75% and you just have to focus on 25% of it. So in this part of the presentation, what I'm doing is helping you to see that I can empathize with where you might be right now. And so let's go over that. So you might be here, you might be attending this presentation because you've been thinking about building and growing an online business or creating an online offer, and you do want to see results, but you don't want to waste time. I mean, you might feel like you don't have time to waste, right? You really are looking for a simple, proven, methodical approach to follow so that you feel very confident that you're working on the right thing at the right time. And you might have been discouraged in the past. You've been reading or watching or trying everything, but maybe you are here and you've made it this far in the presentation because you are ready to take action. And I want to tell you that I think we should do this. Let's do this. So in this part of the presentation, I am encouraging you and telling you that this is a great time to do the thing that you want to do. So here we go. I think it's the perfect time to focus on business growth right now. I also think it's the perfect time to stop spinning your wheels and start really making progress finally. And it's the perfect time to get reliable business training from an experienced professional and stop looking all over the internet for, just one how-to blog post and another how-to podcast and trying to stitch it together on your own. In this slide, I am telling you that this is not a magic approach, because it's really important to me that if you are interested in my program, that you realize that I am not promising you a money tree. I want people who are pragmatic, who want to do the work and make real, genuine progress and build a real business, not like a, pretend internet money tree, because that's not what I help you do. So that's what this slide is about. There's nothing about what I teach that's magic. It is a proven approach that anyone can do. I want to show you how to build a profitable online business with a proven step-by-step approach. And in the teaching part of this presentation, what I'm showing you here is called a mock-up. And a mock-up is really important when you are selling an online program that is not tangible. I don't know if you all remember, but I remember when you used to buy courses and they used to be delivered on DVD and with, printed workbooks. Well, we don't do that anymore, do we? So a mock-up helps you to see all of the elements that are included in a program, and it helps the program to feel more tangible. This is why we show mock-ups like this. And by the way, this is like a very meta moment, but inside the Big League, I actually have a lesson on how to create mock-ups. So because they're that important. The other thing that you'll notice in this mock-up is I'm showing people who see this mock-up that this course is able to be consumed on a multitude of devices. So you can see it on a computer screen, on a laptop screen, on a tablet, or on a smartphone. And that's important to include in a mock-up as well. As long as your offer is available on all of those different formats, you want to show the formats in your mock-up. All right, and now I'm showing you a testimonial. And the reason we show testimonials is that we want people to see that the people who have been helped by this offer are people just like them, right? So it's to make the offer seem relatable and to show the people who have actually had real success with the offer. So this is Sandy Feaster. Sandy improved her email marketing program, and she managed her blog content with additional skills that she learned inside the Big League. And she was giving in-person trainings, and she adapted those to online offerings. And Sandy says, I love Pamela's always positive encouragement and the great information she shares. That's a nice testimonial from her. So this slide is all about kind of managing expectations, because I want to make sure that people who invest in this program are the right people. So it's perfect for some people and it's not as good for other people. So the Big League, the program I'm talking about, is perfect for you if you offer digital products or online courses, or you offer online services. So maybe one-on-one services, or you offer small group services. It is not a good program if you have an e-commerce store or you sell software. There's really not enough information in this program for you if that's what you do. So digital products, digital services, this is the program for you. All right, and then starting on this slide, I'm going to just go into what's in the program so that people watching this slide understand what's included. So the Big League includes a core curriculum. There are 9 modules that focus on the plan, build, and implement stages. And you're going to notice that I left off the grow stage. And the reason for that is that I have a completely separate program that is for the grow stage. It's called the Offer Accelerator. And it's for people who have really gotten to that point in their business where they're really leveraging their success and they're trying to scale up their business. So this program is really for people who are in the early stages of growing their online business, and they want to make sure they set a really firm foundation. So that's why you'll see the plan, build, and implement stages. There are more than 65 courses inside the Big League to help to guide you as you go along building your business. And it includes templates, scripts, resource lists, checklists. It has video training. It has downloadable audios and quizzes. It's a real multimedia experience. There's also something really powerful inside the Big League, and we call it the Big League Progress Tracker. And this progress tracker allows you to go through the program on your own time and at your own pace. This is a completely self-study program, and the progress tracker is this beautiful link to everything you need for the different stages of business you're in. You can see along the bottom, the stages each have their own worksheet. And then there's this nice checklist along the left-hand side, so you can check things off as you get them done. If you are a checklist person, this is a very satisfying progress tracker because you can just check things off as you accomplish them. My goal for you in this program is to help you to move through whatever stage you're in 90 days. Now, you can take longer if you want. This is a complete self-study program, as I said, but my goal is to help you do it in 90 days. If you're in the plan stage, you're going to build a description of your ideal customer, you'll choose your business name, and you'll develop a tagline, and then you're going to secure a domain name for your online business. You'll decide on your brand colors and fonts, and we'll start planning your first online offer. And then in the build stage, once you move to that stage, you're going to publish that website with those initial pages, the 3 to 5 pages we went over in this presentation. You're going to choose and register with an industry-leading email marketing provider. You'll create a high-value opt-in incentive or lead magnet that will attract your ideal customer and start building your email list. And you'll place those forms all around your website so your ideal customer sees them. And you'll begin to plan and build your first small paid offer. And then in the implement stage, you're going to decide how to price and position your product or service. You're going to create a sales page for your product or service. I have a great outline that shows you how to do that and some education around that. And then you'll begin to launch your product or service with emails or live presentations like this one. And you'll be able to track your results, and you'll see which launch and promotion techniques seem to work best for you. That's really important to pay attention to. And you'll explore some new ways to grow your email list that are a little bit more advanced. We'll get into those in this implement stage part of the program. My goal is to give you the resources that you need to move through the stage you're in a 90-day period of focused work. And as I mentioned, it is self-paced, so you can go as fast or as slow as you need. So again, showing the mock-up here so the people see everything that's included. This isn't everything, honestly. It would fill the whole screen. There's a lot in the program, but it's representative of the kinds of materials that are in the program. And the mock-up is important for the sales process so that people see that they get a lot, and it helps to make a digital product feel tangible. All right, so this is a quick bulleted list of what's included. There's a core curriculum, as I mentioned. That is a welcome module with a site tour. I have a quiz that helps you find your business stage. So I know in this presentation I asked you to tell me what you thought your business stage was. Well, this quiz gives you a whole series of questions so you can really pinpoint what stage you're in right now. And then we're going to plan your work. I have a worksheet called Draw Your Success Map is what I called it. And it gives you an opportunity to really plan out the work you're going to do in the program. And then again, resources for the plan, build, and implement stages of online business. And as I mentioned, there are 65 included courses. There are business building topics for those 3 initial online business stages: video, audio, worksheets, checklists, quizzes, and additional resources so that you can dig deeper. If there's a topic that you're struggling with, I have gathered the best resources I could find, and I'll give you lots of additional resources to explore. And I'm not going to go through these, honestly, because I just went through them, but this is basically all you get for the plan stage. It's all included in the Big League. All you get for the build stage, everything you get for the implement stage. And as I mentioned, 65 mini courses total. It is a complete reference library for online business builders. And the beautiful thing about this program is you don't have to keep searching around the internet. You have a reliable source of information, and the information is organized in a way that you can follow it kind of methodically to build your business. Again, another testimonial. This is Dr. Michelle Deering. She came into the big league, improved her branding, she developed and expanded her website, and she polished her sales process. And this is what she said. She said, I would highly recommend the big league because you get access to quality resources and guidance that is affirming and insightful. She also said, I've been in the big league for 2 years, and the first year I did not take full advantage of all that was available to me. I floundered and got caught up in the noise of gurus. And, I laughed when I saw this because I've actually called myself the unguru. I'm like, not a guru, okay? I'm kind of a soft-spoken person, and I can't really compete with the noise of gurus. So it's funny to me that she got caught up in the noise of gurus. But then she said, I came to my senses and came back home to a person who genuinely cares about me and my progress. So that was a beautiful testimonial. This is Jan, and Jan joined the big league because she was tired of trying to make sense of all the how-to information that she was finding online. She is working to improve her website and build a lead magnet to attract her perfect customer. And Jan said the big league covers so many vital facets of building an online business and offers this material in an unusually clear, appealing, and doable way. Nice testimonial too. All right. If you're following along to see what I'm doing as I'm selling you this program, this is a really important aspect. I am offering a bonus for people who purchase the Big League now, and it is my Elements of Design Excellence. And I'm getting my notes out because this includes so much. I want to make sure I can tell you everything that's in this bonus. It is a $275 value bonus. And what it does is it helps you to master all the elements of great design so that you can create better looking pages, better looking content, and better looking visual marketing. I have a background in graphic design, so this is basically me taking everything I learned over my 35-year career as a designer and making it very easy for you to understand. So it's a series of books. The first book is Color, Theory, and Practice. The second book is all about typography. The third book is about composition. The fourth is white space. The fifth is visual hierarchy, which is a obscure concept that you will be so happy you learned once you get it. And the sixth book covers grids. It is 68 pages of really approachable design information. You'll see things differently after you get this Elements of Design Excellence, and it is included free when you buy the Big League right now. So what's the investment? Well, the Big League normally is $1,200, which breaks down to about $100 a month. You get 12 months access when you purchase the Big League. So what I'm doing here, if you're following along at home, this is called anchor pricing. So I am giving you a higher initial price to tell you about the value of the program so that when you see the actual price, you say, oh, well, that's not so bad. And here is the actual price. The actual price of the Big League is $750 for 12 months access. So because I showed you the value before, hopefully the $750 feels like a huge bargain, and it truly is for all of the material and the framework and the approach and the lack of overwhelm and the methodical way of that you will get to build your online business that you'll find in this program. It's a great deal. All right, what I'm doing on this slide is it's called Creating Urgency. So I am giving you a deadline to get this offer, to get the bonus, and to get the price. And the deadline is October 31st, 2021. And the place to get this is to go to joinbigleague.com. And I'm hoping Stacy, who's here live, can drop that into chat. I will put it directly below the video so you can find it if you're watching the replay. Joinbigleague.com is where you can find the bonus, the price, everything is on this page. And I recommend that you go there now because there is this deadline. So why do we give people deadlines? The reason we give people deadlines is that it is actually tough to make a decision. It takes a lot of brain power. And when you give people a deadline and you tell them you need to make this decision now, that can help them to do the work of making a decision, because it is actually work. It's cognitive load to make a decision and make a purchase. So this is why we give a deadline. Now, if you are watching the replay, I want you to know that I'm going to see if there's a way that I can extend this for people who see the replay. So if you're watching this after October 31st, 2021, do not despair. Go to joinbigleague.com. I'm going to see if there's a way that I can continue to give you some good stuff when you go to that URL. So, all right, but if you're here live, the bonus, the price expires on October 31st. And again, here's that bonus. It's the Elements of Design Excellence. It's kind of my downloading of everything I learned over 35 years as a graphic designer so that you can create more polished looking visual marketing for your business. And the value of that is $275. Final step. So I like to show this slide because when you actually go to pay for something online, you usually have to interact with a shopping cart. So I want people to have a view of, just to have a glimpse of what they're going to see on that shopping cart page, because that's kind of the final decision point, right? So here's the shopping cart page. You're going to fill in your name at the top. You're going to click complete order on the bottom. And the moment you do that, you will be in the big league. You'll have all the course materials. Everything is unlocked on day one. So you get access to everything. There's no, I don't drip it out over time or anything like that. You get everything all at once. So on this slide, I am answering a question that you might have in your mind. And this is really important when you're selling online, to sort of anticipate the questions that people may have and to try to answer them in advance. So one question you may be wondering is, okay, Pamela, 12 months access, but after 12 months, what do I have? So I want to let you know that there's a lot in this program that can be downloaded. Anything that is in PDF format, and there's a lot in PDF format, or anything in MP3 format, so any audios can all be downloaded as well. So this includes things like worksheets, templates, transcripts from the presentations. Any of the audio guidance that is built into this program can be downloaded and saved separately. So you do get 12 months access, but you can download lots of pieces of it to access later as well. Susanna was in the big league. She has improved her sales pages and her messaging. She increased the price of her training program and improved her launch and promotion process. And this is what happened. She said, the results were excellent. I'm now teaching the most engaged group I've ever had, and I have 35% more students, and I've raised my prices. So I love to see results like that. I am going to stick around if you have questions. I'm going to come back to my camera, and I'm going to leave this slide up just for a moment so you can capture that URL. It's joinbigleague.com. And again, the discount expires on October 31st. And let me see what I need to do to get back to my camera here so that you can see me full screen. Here we go. Hello. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. And Stacy, you and I didn't talk about this ahead of time, but if I have Slack open, so if you want to drop any questions in Slack, you can do that. Or if there are not questions ahead of time, you can just, if you're here live, you can post your questions now and I'll answer them. But I really appreciate you being here and sticking with me through this presentation. It went a little bit longer than I expected, so thank you for sticking through. So let's see. Maureen is asking if there's a private Facebook group, and no, there's not. It is self-study. It's really set up so that you can work through it methodically and on your own time. I'm so glad you asked that. What we have found as a team is that so many people who are at this stage of life are juggling all these different things. Oftentimes they're juggling their parents, their children. Sometimes they already have a business, or they're just trying to develop this on the side. And so they're super busy. and having a lot of live components or even a live group that they feel like they have to show up for is just not helpful. So we basically redid the whole program so that it could be self-study and self-paced. And that feels very important for people who are at our stage of life. That self-paced component is really important. So Brian asked, let's see, I was going to ask if you were at the tennis ball Wilsons or the basketball Wilson clan. And I'm Brian Wilson, but I don't think my last name. Okay, cool. I married into that Wilson name. I had a completely different last name. My husband gets teased all the time about his last name. He had a group of friends that always go Wilson because of that Tom Hanks movie, Wilson. They would call him Wilson. So yes. Adele says, can you go as fast as you can? And I love your spirit, Adele. You can absolutely go as fast as you can. The one thing that I will tell you, though, is it's really important that you focus on setting a firm foundation. So again, no internet money tree that you can shake and make money fall down from, right? There are certain things that you have to have in place, and those things do take time. So as long as you're willing to work through it methodically, you can absolutely go as quickly and as fast as you can. Absolutely. Christian is asking what kind of support is offered once you're in the program, such as questions or one-on-one coaching. There's not one-on-one coaching included in this program now. I believe that most of the questions have been answered already because some of the content was delivered live and people were asking questions live. So if you're willing to watch those presentations, your question will likely be answered in the presentation. We're going to see how it goes with that because we just recently turned this into a self-study program. I think that you will find the answers in that progress tracker and within the materials it's themselves. If we find that doesn't work, we might make some changes. But right now, that's how it is. So, all right. And let's see. I'm looking to see if there are any other questions. I don't see any others. So I just want to thank you. Thank you so much. If you're watching the replay, you made it all the way to the end. Congratulations. Thank you for sticking with me, and I hope you have a much clearer idea of how to get your big idea online now, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much, everyone.